Hello, everyone. How are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. Today, this video is very important, and you have to listen to it. You may disregard it. May God have mercy on your soul. I've been involved with quality for 40 years. I've been in my own business for going on 15. My background is aerospace, medical implants, printing, plastic distribution. And I'm going to tell you this, I'm a Boeing shareholder. This video today is certified suppliers, AS9100, uncertified Boeing AS9100 for 22 years, the hidden AS9100 scandal behind 12,000 aircraft, and those that supplied materials, you're just as guilty. Though they didn't want you to know it, I'm going to tell you. 9/11 transpired. And Boeing came out with an article on September 19th, 2001, that they said that they were going to be laying off 20 to 30,000 employees. 7 months later, they came out with 2 supplier bulletins, April, and they said, we're going to be changing over to NADCAP certification for heat treatment, welding, and non-destructive testing. Okay? In July, we are demanding our suppliers to be AS9100 accredited by ANSI-ANAB. Why? Because Boeing called them out on the supplier bulletin of July 2002. They also were instrumental in saying that on their supplier portal, where suppliers would go to find out if they can become a supplier, their requirements, they said third-party registrars must be ANSI-ANAB or internationally equivalent. The American National Standards Institute, the American National Accrediting Board, who founded the International Accreditation Forum Incorporated in Delaware, and their sister organization that IAF has is the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation in Australia. You could not make this up. They are associations of accreditation bodies, national and international, that are equivalent to ANSI-ANAB, American National Standards Institute, American National Accrediting Board, and they are underwriters for the IAF and ILAC, which means they take full legal responsibility. On their ANSI-ANAB website, there's a web page that says Management System Accreditation Committee, which no longer exists because I exposed it. What it was Boeing was sitting there giving you, the citizens, and the suppliers, the illusion that they were AS9100. Well, they were not for over 22 years. That means every great part that your AS9100 certified company sent into Boeing was degraded by Boeing themselves because their system, they didn't have one. In June 2024, Miss Elizabeth Lunn, you could find it on Reuters, said that Boeing is now willing to go for their AS9100 certification. You like that so far? Boeing gave the illusion that they were AS9100, perpetrating a fraud on you, the supplier, who they demanded to be AS9100. In October of 2003, ANSI-ANAB came out with a Heads Up 22 that said this: the OASIS database, which is called the Online Aerospace Systems Information System, is a database that you as the supplier cannot refuse to be put on or pay database fees, or you will get your certificate taken away. And it's run by the International Aerospace Quality Group. And at the time, in 2003, Boeing had you right by the old strings, as I say, or hairs, short hairs. This means, ladies and gentlemen, this means Delta, United, Qantas, you name it, Air India, all your companies, not just them, but many more. They have suspect airplanes that are flying around that were not built in a quality system, and that is Boeing. I've been trying to tell you, and I'm a shareholder. I stood up April 17th with 2 documents letting the DHS subcommittee with Richard Blumenthal know about this, but there's a problem. Richard Blumenthal, his DHS sits on ANSI-ANAB's board. They're not just members, they're customers. I warned Richard Blumenthal 8 days later on 4/25, and I've got the email, 2025, and I warned his aides, Lorenzo Dalton and Lorenzo Dalbert and Beatrix Dalton, his aides. I told them, Because when I stood up, he gave them to me to give them my paperwork, but they did nothing for. Nothing. Zippo. These committees do nothing for us, the people. And I'm going to tell you something else. I warned Richard Blumenthal, and there are laws that Richard Blumenthal broke because he should have recused himself because the DHS sits right over by Boeing like this. Not only the DHS, Department of Commerce, Department of Justice, and the FDA. Ladies and gentlemen, I do this tonight because the next plane that goes down, engine, this, that, it's still on Boeing's watch. For 22 years, that means between 8 and 12,000 jets are flying that should be grounded so that we as people could look and find out if there's something going on. They have to be inspected because in an unaccredited ecosystem that Boeing was, well, I'm sending a good part to Boeing. Boeing was not AS9100. That means every certificate, AS9100, ISO 9001, ISO 13485, all of them. And I'm telling you the truth. You can't lie. I got 40 years in quality. I'm telling you this again and again and again. Boeing's aircraft from 2002 to even 2025, because Miss Elizabeth Lund, former vice president, she retired in December 2024. I went out in October 2024 and I spent time at Everett, Renton, Auburn, and Northfield on my own dime to get the real information, and I got it. Parts come in from ISO certified, AS9100 certified companies. They don't fit the aircraft. I asked them, do you know anything about AS9100? They said, what's that? I asked them, do you know anything about auditing? They said, what's that? They didn't know. And Elizabeth Lund, you had to retire because you lied to Reuters. Nobody knows about this. Ask Boeing for paperwork. You know what the people told me, the employees at those 4 places? They said, Daryl, if you were to go in there and look at the documentation for an aircraft that they sold, paperwork is missing. Sounds very familiar to the door plug on the Alaska airline. I do this because I'm a shareholder. I gave them a booklet to all the board members, okay? You know how they say you invest in, whether you got 100 shares, or 10 shares, or 1 share, you're still part of the company? They ignored me, ladies and gentlemen. That means they're hiding something. I sent a booklet to Kelly Oberg. Kelly Oberg was supposed to be the dark horse. Dark horse, he was at Rockwell Collins. Oh, he's no dark horse. Rockwell, I think, submitted like 50% avionics systems goes to Boeing and 50 goes to Airbus. They're all in bed together. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm imploring you that Boeing needs to get their shit together. They got almost 8 to 12,000 aircraft that are flying around, built in a system that didn't attain AS9100 at all. They talked about it even for 2024. And you have all these vice presidents. They knew what was going on. They were saving money and getting bonuses. Big deal, 346 people are dead. Look at Dennis Muhlenberg. He got $60 million for that. Look at David Calhoun. A door pulls up. That was like a champagne bottle for him. He got $45 million plus his bonuses, and he still has the audacity. They still have the audacity. Have him on the freaking board. He's incompetent. I was there June 18th. I watched him. The only thing David Calhoun knows about quality is my golf club and my Titleist 3 ball. Oh, aerospace. The only thing he knew about aerospace materials is his golf shaft is made out of composite material, and the head of it is graphite, fiberglass, whatever, titanium, aluminum. But remember, he who plays golf putts, and he lives up to that joke. It's not a joke. I was there. Ladies and gentlemen, I say it again. Boeing built aircraft in a system that was not accredited, but your parts went into that aircraft. You're just as guilty as they are, but you didn't know. You're naive. But in the law, they would not find you not guilty. You would be part of the problem. 203-556-1493. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.